life can be difficult. It can be challenging. It can be overwhelming at times. And sometimes we don't know what to do because we're feeling stuck, stuck financially, in our health and our wellness, in our relationships, in our careers, in our business. And so we don't know what to do, and we just become overwhelmed. Now, look, I'm not trying to make this doom and gloom. I'm just speaking reality. And I know that's been the case for me. But how do you move through those difficult times? What are some things that you can do to push through the pain to get to the other side? Well, I want to talk about that coming up next in this episode. You're listening to the Grind and Gratitude Show. Welcome to the Grind and Gratitude Show. If this is your first time tuning in, thank you so much. If you're an avid listener, you already know I got a lot of love for you. And in this episode, I want to kind of just step back a little bit from some of the other things that I talk about, speaking and coaching and all of those other things, to really speak what's on my heart and my mind. But before I get too far down the road, which I do sometimes, forgive me, let me introduce myself. For those who don't know me, I am Danny Stone, also known as Coach Stone is in the building. I'm the founder of Champion You Community and Champion You Academy, an online academy to help entrepreneurs and business owners make more impact, income, and influence. And I'm the founder of the Speak Up to Scale Up Challenge, a challenge that helps entrepreneurs, coaches, business owners speak so that they can attract their ideal customers and clients. So that's a little bit about who I am. And now I just want to get right into the episode. I don't know if it's just me. Maybe you can relate to this. Maybe you can't. But there have been times in my life where I was really stuck, where I felt overwhelmed, where I just felt like I was getting left behind and it seemed like people were just passing me. I was overwhelmed financially. I was stressed out. I was overweight. All these at different points in my time, in my life, things just got overwhelming and things have been difficult. And it was hard to see light at the end of the tunnel. And I don't know if this is the case for you, but it's been the case for me over the course of my life. And I know that when I feel like that, when I just feel like I have all this weight on my shoulders and I can't figure things out. And I don't know if you felt like this, but every step that you take forward, when you start to make some progress, then you get pushed back 2 steps, right? I mean, I felt like that. And I felt like that in my business, like there've been, speaking gigs that I've really wanted to land, or clients, or, I had really tough months financially and I just couldn't figure it out. And I just felt overwhelmed. I felt that way financially. I felt that way in my personal life. I've had some challenges over the years and personally that have really kind of set me back, and I've had to fight to get through them. And all of that to say, and I really want you to understand this. Whatever you're going through right now, you'll make it. You'll get through. You'll make it through. And it might not seem that way right now. You might be saying, Coach Stone, I don't know if I can get through this. I'm in so much debt. I don't know if I can get out of debt. Right now, my job's just not working out. I don't know if I'll ever find another job that I really like. Right now, my business is struggling, and I don't know if I'm even going to continue on with this business because I just don't see it. I'm here to tell you that you'll figure it out. You have all of the skills and the knowledge and the experience and the curiosity and creativity and resourcefulness that you need to figure it out. And what you have to do is keep fighting every single day. And so I want to share 5 things that I did and that I still do when I get stuck in my life and I just can't figure out my next move. These are the 5 things that I tap into that have helped me to get through difficult times and come out on the other end to achieve things that I never thought I could achieve. Look, I'm just an average guy who grew up in low-income housing. I was headed down the wrong path and happened to turn my life around. And my whole goal in life was to get a quote unquote good job. That's all I ever wanted. And, I'm a university dropout, found myself in the corporate world, had that quote unquote good job, and realized that's not the life that I wanted. I quit my job, started my business, been speaking on stages around the world, wrote a few books. I have this podcast that's reaching people in 55 countries. And all of this to say, I'm no more special than you. If I can do these things, imagine the really amazing things that you can do in your life. But it requires you to not give up. And that's the difference between me and anybody else who has a dream, who hasn't achieved it. I still haven't achieved all my dreams either. I'm still fighting for them, but I don't quit. I keep finding a way to keep going. And when I hit roadblocks and I hit really difficult times, these are the 5 things that I really tap into. So the first thing that I do when I hit a brick wall, or when I feel overwhelmed in my business or my personal life or my relationship or anything like that, the first thing that I do is I remind myself that I've been through difficult things before and I survived. It sounds so simple, but when you're stuck, or when you're feeling overwhelmed, or when you're feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders, you can only see it from that perspective. But here's the thing. You've survived difficult things in the past. So it's important that you remind yourself, like, hey, I'm strong, I'm resilient, I'm creative. I figured out how to get through difficult times in the past. Therefore, I can do it again. And it's not as simple as it sounds when you're overwhelmed and when you're stuck and when you're stressed out and when you're anxious about something. It's not that simple. It's not as simple as it sounds. But I've learned to make a conscious effort to remind myself that I can do it, that I've done it before. And I think that's the most important thing. We have to remind ourselves that we've done it before. So sit down and remind yourself. Think of all of the things that you've overcome in the past, all of the difficulties that you've made it through. Remind yourself of that. And so that's one of the very first things that I do when I'm overwhelmed and I can't figure things out. I remind myself that I've survived things in the past. I've survived 100% of every bad day that I've ever had. And so have you, if you're listening to this podcast. So that's a great thing. That's a great place to start. Like, remind yourself of that. The second thing that I do is I wake up in gratitude. Like I even though I'm going through a difficult time, or even though I might be going through those challenges, I remind myself, like, hey, I'm grateful that I woke up. I'm grateful that I have a roof over my head. I'm grateful that I have people that love me and that I love. I'm grateful that I was able to eat today. And we have to remind ourselves to be grateful. Again, it sounds easy, but when you're stuck and you're struggling in your life, some area of your life that you really want more happiness or success, it's not that easy to just stop yourself and to wake up in gratitude or to be grateful throughout the day. So we have to make a conscious effort to do that. And so that's one of the things that I try to do. Look, all of these things, I'm not saying I'm perfect at any of them. I'm just saying when I feel stuck and overwhelmed, these are the things that I try to do and I make an attempt to do on a regular basis. So waking up in gratitude, even keeping a journal, like keep a journal near your nightstand and call it your gratitude journal, right? And write down all of the things that you are grateful for, even in the most difficult time, because what happens is we amplify what we put our attention on. So if you're constantly worried about paying bills, or you're constantly worried about your business, or you're constantly worried about your relationship, it becomes amplified. And you can never see your way through it because you're always focusing on that negative energy. You need to inject some positive energy into your life and into that situation. And gratitude is the best way to do that. Because once you start to show gratitude and you're grateful, it's amazing how that works. You'll start to see opportunities. You'll start to see solutions. You'll start to attract the right people to kind of help you through that challenging time in that situation. So try to be grateful no matter what you're going through, because I found for me, when I was struggling, just waking up and making a list of all the things that I was grateful for, it just reminded me that even in my most difficult times, I still have things to be grateful for. And it also reminded me that there are people who are in way worse situations than I am. There's people who are in way worse situations, whether it's health-wise, they're in the hospital, or maybe they, are sleeping outside with their family because they don't have a place to stay, or no food to eat. There's always so many people in this world who are way worse off than me. And so I remind myself of that, and I remind myself to be grateful. So that's the second thing that I do when I'm feeling stuck, feeling overwhelmed, to really break through difficult times. The third thing that I do is I find moments of joy throughout the day. I find moments of joy throughout the day. Just like I find things to be grateful for, I find moments of joy. And it could be just, I'm grateful that I'm drinking my favorite drink. I'm grateful that I actually had some time to spend with my loved ones, right? I'm grateful that today I was able to actually go outside and enjoy a walk. What are those little moments of joy? I'm grateful that I was able to find some time to read a book. Find moments of joy throughout your day. Because just like gratitude, when you find those moments of joy, it kind of takes away from all of that heaviness that you're feeling. It takes away from all of that anxiety. And even if it's for a few moments, at least you're getting some joy in your day. And so seek out those moments of joy. Find them and stay in those moments as long as you can. That's something that's worked for me, and it continues to work for me when I'm feeling overwhelmed, when I'm feeling stressed, when I'm trying to figure something out and I just can't. I find moments of joy, right? What makes me excited? Even if it's just, listening to music. I love music. I used to be a DJ. So it's just maybe listening to some songs, or, watching a comedy clip because I love comedy. I just find moments of joy, and I find time to do the things that bring me joy so that I can break up the heaviness. And I want you to do the same thing. Every single day, whether you're going through something or not, find something that brings you joy and do it. Even if it's only for 5 or 10 minutes, do the things that bring you joy. So that's the third thing that I do to break through the challenges and difficulties, is I try to find moments of joy. The fourth thing that I do is if I'm really overwhelmed and I can't figure it out, I ask for help. And asking for help, I don't know about you, it's something that is difficult for me. And it's something that I'm trying to get better at doing. But when I'm really overwhelmed and I'm stressed and I can't figure something out, or I'm going through a really difficult time and I'm doing all these things and I can't break through. I still have this heaviness. I'm overwhelmed, I'm stressed, I'm frustrated. Then I reach out for help. I ask for help. I reach out to, people close to me, or there have been times where I've had to ask a mentor, or I've had to get a coach, but I've reached out for help. And even though I didn't want to ask for help at the time, I'm so thankful and grateful that I did, because in many cases when I reached out for help, people were there to help me. They were there to show me a way forward, or even just listen. There have been times where they couldn't do anything, but the fact that they just listened was powerful enough for me, and it really helped me at the time. So if you're really overwhelmed, if you're stressed, if you're depressed, or you're really going through something and you can't figure it out on your own, ask for help. Don't let your ego get in the way. Ask for help if you need help, and you'll thank yourself. I know I've thanked myself for asking for help, even when I didn't want to. And it's something that I'm trying to get better at, and I'm getting better at it, but I've never been the type of person to really ask for help. And so when I actually go to people and ask for help, especially if they know me and they're close to me, most of the time they're grateful because they know that I'm not the type of person to ask for help. And then they help me, or at least they listen. So seek out help if you're really going through a difficult time right now. If you can't figure it out, you can't see a way through it, I want you to reach out for help. And depending on what it is, there's helplines that you can call. There's different websites that you can access and different services if you're going through a really difficult time and you're stressed and you're overwhelmed and depressed. Reach out and you may need that professional help. And don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed to ask for help. It takes strength and courage to reach out for help. I want you to remember that. And the fifth thing that I do when I'm going through a difficult time and I really can't figure it out is I get back to my why. Why? Why am I here? Why did I start my business? Why did I leave that corporate job to get out into the world and to be on a mission to inspire people to tap into that inner champion? What is your why? Is it your family? Is it your kids? Is it you have a story and a mission that you want to spread to the world? Is it you don't want to go back to where you used to be? What is your why? Remind yourself of your why and fight for that why every single day. Fight for your why. Life isn't easy. It's full of ups and downs. There's many difficult moments and there's many beautiful moments. But in the midst of all of that, we have to get back to understanding our why. Why are you here? Why do you wake up every day? What is your why? You have to remind yourself of that why. And the more that you continue to remind yourself of your why, it's going to give you that fuel and that energy to fight through those difficult times, because the why is bigger than your reason to quit. Your why should be bigger than your reason to quit. I often say your why has to be bigger than your whining. And that's not to be rude or it's not to be dismissive. It means the reason why you want something has to be bigger than the excuses for you not to continue to take action, even in the most difficult times. And I've had to remind myself that many, many times. So those are the 5 things that I do when I'm going through a difficult time and I'm trying to figure it out. Look, I'm not perfect at these things. I have bad moments throughout the day, just like everybody else. I have challenges just like everybody else. And one of the things that I try to do is I try to do these 5 things, because I know if I continue to do these 5 things that I'm going to eventually break through the challenge that I'm going through and come out on the other side much better and much further ahead. So I don't want you to quit. Don't quit on yourself. Don't quit on your family. Don't quit on your friends. Don't quit on your mission. Don't quit on your why. Don't quit on your purpose. You have more to do in this world. You have a champion inside of you. And the reason I say you have a champion inside of you is because champions sometimes fail. Champions have difficulties. Champions have setbacks. Champions make mistakes. They have failures. See, when we think of champions, we see the glory. We see the wins, but we don't see the losses. We don't see the sadness. We don't see the failures. But champions go through all of that, and they keep fighting for what it is that they want. They keep fighting for the vision of their life. They keep fighting for the mission. And that's what I want you to do, because you have a champion inside of you. So that's it for this episode. I really felt like sharing this. This was on my heart today, probably because I've recently gone through some, really difficult things, and I had to remind myself of all of these things. And so it was really fresh in my mind and in my heart. And I just felt like maybe somebody else needs to hear this. So if you're going through a difficult time in your business right now, or your personal life, or your relationship, or your finances, or your career, I want you to know that you can make it through. You can make it through. These are 5 things that have helped me. They may help you. Look, I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear what you think about this episode. Send me a message on Instagram @IamDannyStone. And, as always, if this episode really touched you, please leave a podcast review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening. That would really help me to reach more people. Thank you so much for being my co-host. I really appreciate you being here, and I hope that you'll listen and continue to listen, and I hope to catch you in the next episode. Take care.